Good morning. Welcome to Jasiri. They say exercising is a fountain of youth and good health is the ultimate wealth. But I have never been more inspired to take control of my well-being than after watching this incredible video. This 73-year-old Mrs. Umar lifting weights, boxes, and using the treadmill every morning and evening to stay fit. And yes, it's Niger. It's not like, it's Oyibo. This is a 73-year-old woman. Her routine got me thinking, really thinking about the limitless possibilities of our bodies. This in itself has inspired me. Take a look at this.
First and foremost, say, I have the body of a younger woman. All the things when then they do, all the exercise. In fact, they carry weight past them because I like to bench press a lot. All this for old age. In my 70s, now I begin to do these ones. My name now, my main goal when I first start to exercise, first and foremost, now to reduce my weight, but I dey walk on the treadmill every day, like 5 kilometers in the morning, 5 kilometers in the evening. Even when I not dey gym, I dey exercise for house. And after about 6, 7, 8 months, I see say improvement don dey small. So each person dey eat. Training na go help you. You need to do more. Go exercise. Lose weight. Lose at least 10 kilos. When you get a reason when make you leave your house, at 6 a.m. now they wake up in those days, go, you go think say that they pay me salary every day, 5 days a week for almost 16 years. Exercising gets a lot of benefits. All these weights, now so one hand now they take carry. Then on top of that one, we can begin learn boxing. I can't do boxing as a hobby. The one when they sweet me pass when I they enjoy. You get different names for these weights. Some na the bar you go hold, so take carry go up. Some na dumbbell press. Some na bench press, barbell press. Anything sharp to do with say they carry weight. Now that one I me like pass. The advice when see they get double mind. For those who not even get when I want mind then get, they don't even get any mind about it.
Catherine is dumbfounded.
Listen, no, ladies, I'm not an exercise person. Let me just start with that. I'm not. You see, this woman needs to meet my sister Kate Henshaw. They need to have a tete-a-tete. They need to sit down. They need to sit down at the table.
The thing is, I love what she's doing. I think we've talked about it here that at a certain age, people think that the rest of your life or whatever is remaining of your life is meant for you to sit somewhere, take care of your grandchildren, travel small, greet people as they pass. But there's still so much life after retirement. And I think sometimes we tend to, particularly with women, tend to assume they've reached a certain age and they don't do anything. It's like talking about, I want to call it, I'm going to say, like, people don't want to talk about the fact that there's still sex life after 65 and 70.
Yes.
There's traveling after that age. There's learning new skills. Let's not expect the old people around us to have to sit down and slowly wait
Did you see how?
And yes, I can't do what she's doing. I can't remember the last time I did anything.
Weight, but does it count that I'm carrying the weight of the Nigeria or my
You're not carrying anybody's weights.
Look at that.
And her form is good, her enthusiasm, all of it is all coming together.
5 days
I
a
love
week.
it.
That's a lot of dedication.
Listen.
But you know she's retired. So and even people who are not retired are actually doing 5 days. Let's even be honest. People who want to exercise will exercise. People who are determined to do it and who are dedicated to it, they will do it. It's the rest of us.
No, man.
I mean, like, she's even wearing matching sets. I think grandma is even wearing booty shorts.
Listen.
I'm so inspired.
She's so quick. Look at this.
Blessing, lift this table now. Lift this table.
I want to stand up, but I'm not.
Stand up and lift this table.
I'm just going to sleep.
Look at that. For me, it's the way she just keeps going. She's going. There's no break of, my hand, oh, my back, or no. She's just getting at
So
it.
my challenge is, the inspiration comes. Like, this video now is very inspiring. But when you start it, the consistency is not the problem.
But she's been consistent. And
No,
she's
no,
talked
I'm
about how
saying
long she's
like
done
for
it.
the rest of us now that are inspired by this, it's easy to get inspired. But then you start and like I like going to the gym, but I'm struggling with consistency because sometimes like any minor inconvenience, I'm just like, I'm just gone.
And so what I like also, she was getting into it, but I don't think the video fully showed it, was the health benefits, especially for women at a certain age. You're more prone to osteoporosis, weakening of the bone.
Yeah.
She's lifting weight, she's lost weight, but she's also building muscle mass as well. So there's just a lot of benefits. I can espouse them, but I do not live them.
No, but also for you to get into this, you must make sure. I always tell people, if you're going to be, I wouldn't say a gym addict, but
It's a
if that's
mindset.
if you're going to be someone who visits the gym regularly, you have to be healthy because there's some weights or things you carry that can trigger some things that you didn't know you had. So you have to get a clean bill of health first of all to know that the basic things.
Well,
are-
sometimes the clean bill of health doesn't come until you've been in the gym for a while.
no.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
sometimes people go to the gym. Don't you hear people go to the gym and slump?
No, so
Because they
so the
didn't
thing is, you
know.
don't have to be 100%, but
If
you
you
have
go,
to
you-
know where the shortcomings are in your health, so
And
that
if you
you
didn't
know
know
you
what
have a
kind of
heart
exercise
condition.
you should be
Exactly.
doing.
Exactly. Because people
Be
go
in
to
the
the
sauna
gym
every day.
Do you know sometimes you go to the gym, they don't know what
This
to
thing
do.
reminds me of something.
And
yeah.
That's the story.
Oh my God, I don't,
please,
man.
please spill.
Can you do it in 30 seconds?
In 30 seconds.
Go
So
ahead.
the first time I registered for a gym, I got a swollen mom poopies. Don't ask me what it is. Go and check. It's morning TV. And for like weeks, I was battling it out. So apparently, I had taken something bigger than my muscle could carry, and it affected me. So I couldn't go to the gym for a long time. Bruh.
Bruh.
You don't want to know the story. But anyways, for those of us on this table and outside this table, in the couch, watching me, if you know that you are,
Yeah.
interested in the gym, you've not been consistent.
No, this has inspired me.
I'm
though.
sure this is your inspiration.
There's life after
right?
60. There's life after 70. There's
And
life
that's not
after
to say that you should
life,
wait till
there's love,
70
there's-
to
yeah.
start
Yes.
gymming.
No,
But
it's-
life continues. Life
really
goes
does go.
on.
But someone will say, in argument, someone will say, but the people that go to the farm, the people that trek, the people that, how do they do it? Is that not formal? Is that not a form of exercise?
It is, to be honest. I mean, a lot of time we downplay the effect of just walking, right? But, you build more muscle.
Where do you walk to? The
That's
fridge?
it. No, like, there was a time I used
Walk
to
the
take
streets
an
of
hour
Lagos.
walk. Like, I walked for an hour. And I know that I lost weight. Like, if
You
just
used
doing
to.
that.
They used to.
Let's go on a break,
Change
Blessing.
is the only constant thing in life. Stay tuned. Jasiri will be back shortly.
All right, welcome back. We're streaming live on our social media platforms. We're at News Central TV. Use the hashtag Jasiri to be part of our conversations. Now, last week we had this guest on the show, and he opened our minds to the next level of personal branding. But because of time, we couldn't delve deeper into the conversation. But he's back here today to give more insights into how we can create a unique and experiential identity in today's fast-paced world. So get ready to take notes, because who? Franklin Ekemefuna, aka Vader, the wild card, content creator, strategist, public media consultant, etc., is right back with us. Franklin, can I say I missed you?
I miss you too, sincerely,
Welcome to the
from the bottom of my heart.
Have you ever heard that you look like Fast the bad guy?
So I've heard so many times. I
And the way he just did like this
I look
was
like John
exactly
Jones.
like.
And the beret.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the etc. I've not heard that in years.
etc.
It test, etc.
Yes, and so on and so on and so on.
I remember when he came the first time, it was like, I think we had just very little time, and then it just started bombarding.
Oh
rain.
boy.
I was just looking at
It was the rain. So I
remember
missed
Brandon
that
be branded.
because
Oh, yes, totally
Lagos
missed
traffic.
it. Yeah.
No, Lagos rain helped me
Lagos
up,
rain.
you
Yeah.
know. But now I'm here, and I had to watch the episode. And from everything the ladies were saying, it was very obvious that you opened our eyes and also the viewers' eyes to the next phase of personal branding. And I know authenticity is key. People will try to manufacture it, they'll try to pretend, but everybody at the end of the day, somehow, eventually we recognize what is authentic
Yes.
to people and to a brand. How does one balance being true to themselves with being strategic in presenting oneself? So balancing authenticity with strategic self-presentation.
Okay. I think it stems from being able to observe, social, cultural, contemporary dictates. You being able to observe and soak it in. But that will be futile if you have not done what I like to call internal engineering. I think personal branding begins with internal engineering. So there has to be a wholesome understanding of self, your strengths, your weaknesses, and intentional curation and aggregation of your experiences and perspectives about life. So a wholesome understanding of that, where, these are intangibles, right? But you then make them tangible. When you make them tangible, you then find how to project that based on the contemporary dictates. So for instance, we are looking at a scenario. I like to look at things from a generational perspective. That's what gives me the propensity to be able to some extent, look at what is going to be obtainable in the future. Our parents had a very linear career path.
Yes, so
Very linear.
That is
And that's why they can collect pension. I don't know how many people in our generation can collect pension. Because we don't stay long enough.
You just keep that pension number following you.
Exactly. So it was very linear for them, and it was linear authorized by certification, right? Then after a while, the millennials came into the space, and then all of a sudden, career paths became less and less rigid, became more flexible, right? People could function across industries, authorized by a combination of certification and skill, right? So you could be certified as a lawyer, but your skill will help you function in the entertainment space, right? Now we are going into a dispensation wherein you can, that by function of you functioning by certification and skill, it's usually very difficult for you to function simultaneously across industries, right? Now, the era that we are going into, as a function of personality, you can function simultaneously across industries. Simultaneously. It's already happening. We are seeing glimpses, And anytime that you see glimpses, it is important to note that it is only an indication of what is to come. It's a subset of a larger truth, right? So, for instance, look at content creators, for instance. Content creator who, as a function of only projecting their personality online, financial institutions reach out to them. Please influence for our company, or influence for our establishments. Real estate companies reach out to them. Fashion brands, governmental institutions and parastatals reach out to them. It doesn't seem like much, but at the point in time that you reach out to them to influence for you, you send them briefs, right? That can give them a rudimentary knowledge as to what you do, right? Now, they have leverage on personality to tap into that space, tap into this space, tap into this space, right? So, as a function of that, they have rudimentary knowledge, they have established relationships across these industries. It will be easy for them to permeate into all of these industries from a standpoint of personality alone. So this is only an indication of what is to come much later. Personality will put you in a position wherein you can, from your local standing, you can tap into industries simultaneously. We are looking at a scenario wherein a whole lot of industries are going to be malleable. Industries that you don't think have anything in common. You'll see individuals bridging the gap. It is going to happen. It's not a thing of, that's where we're headed,
So I like that you talked about personality, because my next question is basically on personal branding. Okay. I remember vividly what you said last week, brand or be branded,
yes,
right? And storytelling is such a huge tool when it comes to personal branding. And I remember Aproko Doctor sitting here and talking about how he wanted to share the knowledge that he got, the medical knowledge, and he just couldn't, permeate, according to you, the audience that he had, so he had to take another route. So my question is, how do you find your audience without losing yourself? in the sense that I know who I am. I know the kind of things that, like, even I as a person, there are things that when I opened Instagram, things I could post, I can't post anymore because I have found myself, like, I know who I am, right? I know my niche, I know the kind of things I can do and cannot do. Now, if I want to do things to appeal, say I'm a content creator and I want to appeal to a particular audience, there are some things that I'm doing that I can't do, or that there are things that I don't do that I have to do to appeal to them.
that audience.
Yes, so how do you balance it, finding your audience, not losing yourself?
Okay, I think it stems from, you mentioned the key word there, niche. If you recognize your niche and you cater to them, you don't need to, like I always say, I say that people who try to be generalists in their personal branding, they lack a solid core because you can't cater to everybody. As a function of your personal brand, you will always have people who will primarily gravitate towards you. It's not everybody, you know.
You're not jollof, as Catherine would say.
Exactly.
You're not a plate of jollof, plantain,
Exactly. So,
and chicken.
but there is a way that you can be so adept and so in tune with your niche that from your niche, you will permeate the mainstream. I'll give you an example. Do you know Neil deGrasse Tyson?
The physicist.
The physicist, astrophysicist.
Astrophysicist.
When he talks about, constellation stars, all of this physics, whatever, it evidently is above my pay grade. I don't really understand.
He's above a lot of people's pay grade.
Exactly. But he does that with so much finesse and panache that it's so lovely to see that even if I do not understand a lot of the things that he's saying, I'm so invested in the fact that he knows what he's saying, he loves what he's saying. That alone is very, very important, because as a function of that now, and him being a thought leader in his space, he can it's not even he has come into the mainstream. Now you see him being invited to mainstream shows to just come and talk about. You'll see when he's talking, half of the audience don't even understand what he's talking about. But they are enamored by the fact that he's so passionate about what he's talking about. He's so knowledgeable about what he's talking about. And that's just...
And that keeps them there.
Knowledge is a universal language. People don't need to understand. They just need to be able to tell that you know and enjoy what you're saying. That's all. So from your niche, you don't need to look at how you can cater to everybody. From your niche, you are catering to your niche, and you are getting better at what you do incrementally, to a point wherein it's second nature. You are so good at what you do. It is the people that you are feeding that will take whatever it is that you do and take it to the mainstream by themselves.
Do you know this guy on social media, this African-American content creator, Jordan the Stallion?
Oh, yeah.
The guy that does the mirror and said, come closer.
The recipe.
The recipe guy. So first I saw him with Method Man, and then last week now he's with...
Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino.
Yes.
And everybody, when the video came out, everybody blew up like, oh my God. Next thing we're going to see him in a movie. Yeah. We're going to see him in a music video. And he started really with a niche audience during COVID-19.
Absolutely. Just recipe.
Just breaking down restaurant recipes. He used to work in the restaurant industry.
He has over 10 million followers on Instagram. Over 10 million.
What am I doing with my life?
So now he's mainstream.
Talking about Kabi that doesn't say anything.
Exactly.
And he's one of the most popular.
He ended up in Bad Boys. He ended up doing promo for Bad Boys, campaign for Bad Boys.
Yes,
he's done something with sports. I don't know if it was Ronaldo or Messi or something.
A whole lot of Italian footballers.
The first time I heard him talk, I'm like, he can talk.
So he can talk. Just find your niche, no matter how silly. This thing that you say, Frank thing, find your niche, no matter how silly it is, no matter how nouveau, no matter how new.
Yeah. Novel.
Yes, no matter how novel it is. No matter how, if you're the only one going left when everybody's going right.
Fine.
It's fine.
I think that's what people, number one, need to understand in what you've just said. It just came to me like an epiphany. Wow.
Let me tell you how powerful personal branding is going to be. First of all, people are tired of corporate branding. You are aware that we now pay not to see ads.
Yeah.
On,
You can opt out.
Yeah.
Yes,
so now, multinationals and conglomerates are beginning to look at it from the perspective of now we need a face now. It's no longer business as usual.
Yeah.
We need a face to embody all of this. I'll give you a premium example. So on the 4th of July, the American Independence, Mark Zuckerberg posted a video, I don't know if you saw it, of him surfing.
Yeah, I think I saw.
He wore a suit, he was drinking a beer, and he was surfing. The video was so cool. He was surfing on water. When I saw that, I sent it to my guys. I was like, this is not an accident. This is premeditated. There's something about this thing. But it was just, I'm like, cool. And then, I then went to his Instagram profile. I saw that he was replying comments. So people were like, oh, this is so cool. He was. I said, nah, man. This thing is evidently, like, there's intentionality behind this. The following day, the value of Facebook went up by 50 billion.
Nothing is by accident.
The value of Facebook went up by... Now, I want to ask you a question. The video of him surfing, did it improve the functionality of Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp? Did the app suddenly get better?
No.
But because all of a sudden, the man behind the machine then became more relatable. It became humanized.
Yeah.
Personable.
Yeah.
So they look at it like, we can relate to this guy. It gave investors more confidence, Maybe more people streamed onto the platform to see the video and all that.
Yeah.
As a function of all of these intangibles, the value, it translated into tangibility. And that's what has been going on. That's what Elon Musk does. That's what you see somebody like Rihanna doing with Fenty.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are doing right now. But, because we are only seeing celebrities doing it, we think that it's
limited,
accidental. We are all going to be, in the future, we are all going to be influencers. It just depends on what you are influencing.
And if you're getting paid for it.
While I get that, influencing, storytelling, everything, so how do we marry...
You're rapping just now.
I wasn't even aware because I'm so invested in what he's saying now. We know that this is out there. So how do we deal with privacy and boundaries? You understand?
Oh, yeah.
For example, what you just said now, this is somebody who's personal, like private. Yeah. Suddenly, he came out, he stepped in front of it, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's actually interacting. This is somebody, Blessings mentioned this, our guy who doesn't say anything, suddenly he speaks. Oh my God. So how do we control, what would your advice be in terms of balancing what you share as a personality, and also keeping some things private while you're standing under the umbrella of personal branding?
Okay, so when I mentioned earlier about the fact that in the coming dispensation, we are all going to be influencers. You'll be influencing one thing or the other. Mm-hmm. Most people will be influencing, they will be the brand that they are influencing. Do you understand? Because there will be an online curation of your CV, So there has to be an aggregation of your experiences and perspectives and opinions somewhere online that can be seen. People are beginning to encourage their staff, to have more online presence, to be more intentional about how they are seeing their perspectives, the things that they say, to be more intentional, how they look, So when we're talking about, people being influencers, it does not mean divulging your innermost secrets and all of that, In fact, the framework for personal branding, everything that people will talk about that you can do concerning personal branding can be broken down into 3 frameworks. How to share your story, leveraging on your expertise, and what's the third one? how to make a positive impact in your society. Those are the three parameters, so to speak. So, how to share your story? You are the curator of the story, so you know what it is that you are revealing and
but
what
some
it is
people
that you're
don't
not.
know. Some people just go all out. They just dump everything out there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. For them, that's their definition of speaking their truth. You know, that's the way that they want to be related to or related with. You know, as a function of like different industries that we operate in, we know to what extent that we can divulge some things. You know, for the most part, there are ways that you can go about it wherein people feel like they know so much about you, but you know that you're only giving them 5%. Based off of everything that someone like Tony Elumelu showcases on his Instagram page, what do you really know about his personal life? You don't know
He
much.
flies in helicopters. Elevators. No, it's almost like sometimes when you see his content, you almost expect to be hearing the trumpets of the angels. Brendan gets it. I'm right.
No,
like you don't
absolutely.
expect these angels and heralding and everything. I don't know. That's just like
And it's
don't be-
intentional.
And it's intentional.
It's intentionally curated. So he gives you an inkling as to, oh, I was at this summit and blah, blah, blah. We had this, meeting, this conference and this and that. Oh, I hosted this person or these delegates. I do yoga. I stretch.
I exercise.
I exercise. I'm a family man. I
Yes.
spend time with
Yeah,
my
my
children
family,
and all of that.
He did the challenge. the evidence,
Exactly.
I'm like,
But based on all of these things that you're saying, what can you really say you know about him when it comes to details? Nothing.
So, but that leads me to a question because he's able to have both a personal and professional personality in one brand and in one account.
Yes.
You get. But we have Nigerians, my dear, lovely Nigerians. You'll use your professional page to be on blogs, argue with people and insulting them. And then you don't, sometimes they have personal accounts and sometimes they don't. So this melding of what is both your personal thoughts with how you're meant to present yourself professionally, particularly for our dear Blessings generation, how do we do that? Do you advocate that people have two accounts, accounts where you can be your personal individual, your politics, your whatever it is, and then have a business account? Or we're in the world where one account is going to be everything. You just need to know which lines you will and will not cross.
There are no
Hard and fast rules.
Yeah. You can go about it in whatever way you find most convenient. A lot of people would have to build an online profile out of necessity, not because they want to, For people who use their business accounts to engage and have arguments and throw their opinions out there, it is evident that they are very invested in the social media space. They are very invested, So for people like that, it is advised that they create a different account, have different accounts that you used to engage in personal, dealings, and let that spill over onto your brand. Because ultimately, I know for a fact that CEOs now, as from a multinational standpoint, CEOs are being encouraged now to have more online presence. CEOs.
Because of the trickle-back effect to the bigger brand, to the corporate brand.
Because now people are looking for a person. The gap,
That's true.
the wealth gap is increasing. We're in the 1 percentile have more wealth than the 99% aggregated, like cumulative.
Yeah.
So people are getting disillusioned every day and getting fed up of, oh, you're talking about
Aspire to
corporations
inspire.
and all that. They don't want any of that. So if this is the corporation, I want to see the person behind them. That's what someone like Ryan Reynolds is doing. You can see Ryan Reynolds. He's in the liquor business, he's in football, he's in the movies, he's in marketing. You don't even know the name of the brands. No. You just know that Ryan Reynolds represents this brand, and that's I'm in.
But is this something like too much when you're a jack of all trades? When you're, I don't know, when you're everywhere.
When you're doing so many things.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that's about also common mistakes that we make when we're trying to build a personal brand.
Okay, so in that regard, I like that question. I like that question. In that regard, so there's something called, let me liken it to streams of income, for instance. Okay. Right?
Okay.
When we are talking about multiple streams of income, you say things like, to a layman, it means I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing different things, right? That's on a base level. And I understand why that can be confusing for a lot of people, because when you look at the CVs of like the wealthiest people, you see they have their hands in real estate, they have their hands in construction, they have their hands in, consulting and all of these things. But the truth is that they never left their foundation, the core. They spent decades, they spent a lengthy period of time building brand equity in just one thing. So they broke through with that one thing. It is the leverage that they have built, the brand equity and trust that they have earned from that one thing that they are extending into the other things that they are doing. They are not living what they are doing. When you see them, for instance, let me give you a practical example. You are into finance, right? You want to go into real estate. If you take all of your proceeds from finance and go into real estate, you will lose money, because it takes the same amount of time to attain mastery in all of these things. 10,000 hours here, 10,000 hours here. How much time do you really have? So what you can do then is to institute partnerships. So say, based off of you being a thought leader or an authority in the financial space, you then reach out to a real estate firm and then say, let's strike a partnership. You need credit facilities. I'll give you at a subsidized rate. But for every 10 houses that you build somewhere, I have one. Yeah. Or, you have some sort of a deal like that. Before you know, by the time that they are instituting all of these things, right, you already have your hands inside all of these things. When you go out and say you are into real estate, nobody will doubt it, because now you have something to point to. Yeah. But they don't know that you never laid a block, you never laid a brick. You don't know how much cement costs. You don't know anything about all of that, but you have your hands. That's what high net worth individuals do. And that's how you can see that they are annexing or extending their influence across industries. They never left where they are. When they are going to the office every day, they are going to where they have built brand equity. And that's just what we're talking about, doing so many things. Ryan Reynolds has built an irrefutable, immutable resume in acting. And because he's so loved, he's now using that as a leverage to institute different platforms across industries. So that's the thing.
So for us, we said people should take notes, and this is the part where I hope people are paying attention, really. In terms of building a strong personal brand, what are the key elements? How do we identify and communicate our unique value proposition, our USP, unique selling point, whatever it is? Let's itemize that for us at the table, and also for those who are watching as well.
Like I said earlier, personal branding begins with internal engineering. How do you even begin to brand yourself if you don't know yourself? So there has to be knowledge of self. It seems easy, it seems simple, it seems straightforward. It is not.
It's not so.
It is not. That is what is going to take the most time. It's not. When people are talking about personal branding, right? A lot of people talk about, the style of dressing, the color choices you use on your social media and all of that. All those ones, I particularly don't do. When I consult for people, I don't deal with all of that. I'm more in the mind construct area, So all of that is surface level. The depth is you knowing yourself, knowing your strength, and it takes a lot of humility.
A lot of people don't know.
I know most people don't, and most people will not.
Why do you say they will not?
No, sincerely, because it takes humility to introspect, because you don't know what you will find. Yeah. You don't know what you will find. We all move around acting like we are God's greatest gift to earth, But
Meanwhile, the demon's lucky.
Listen, once you
Deep down.
close that door,
the demon's lucky in you.
deep down, there are so many things that you have to come to terms with about
Yeah.
yourself. There are things that you can't. Let me tell you one truth. There are some things about you that you cannot change. You just have to find a way to live. And I'm not saying they are nice things. I'm saying not so nice things. You cannot change them. You just have to find a way to live with them. Or you find a way to, you amplify your strengths so that they overshadow these
your
weaknesses.
The weaknesses.
But there are some things that just by virtue of us being humans, you cannot eradicate
Human
that.
fallacies.
Look,
that's a scary place
frankly
to go, man.
speaking, I just want to thank Frankly Ikebe for that. Thank you so much for being here, Frankly.
It's my pleasure. as always.
Thank you for sharing your expertise. Again, I got carried away.
I think we still have two very important questions we need to take him on. Because after you put all of this into play, you do your plan and your strategy, how do you measure the success? And how do you know when to pivot when something is not working for your brand and you need to make those adjustments? Very quickly.
Okay, I made mention of something earlier. I talked about being a sponge, soaking up, observing what is going on. So that means you must be very in tune with the times, and you must always look at the applicability of your personal branding on the contemporary dictates of, is it pop culture now or society? You must always look at, because we live in an ever dynamic world. It is constantly changing.
Yes, it
So
is.
you must, your ability to
Move with
Spin.
it.
iterate must, in fact, that's sacrosanct, because you must constantly fine tune to, meet with the demands. You must, and that is what Jeff Bezos said something. He said, look, for me and the leaders of Amazon who work directly with me, we don't exist here. We don't exist today. We exist in a few years' time. We are already ahead, anticipating what can change and how we can adjust to it. That's where we are. We live the day-to-day running for, the lower cadre stuff. But for us, we are looking into the future. We are looking, okay, what can change? And that's what I think, because you have to look at yourself, your personal brand, as a business. That's where we are headed.
But not everybody can do this. Like I always say,
Then they
not
should leave
everybody is
it alone.
entrepreneurial. Not people are struggling with even the social media spaces. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. People are struggling.
Do you
They are
think
dizzy.
New ones are
everywhere?
coming out
How
every
did
day.
they?
Not necessarily, but you should look at you should look at the platforms that amplify what you're trying to achieve.
So you don't have to be on
You don't have to. For instance, if you primarily exist in the corporate space and you are looking to be a thought leader, then you know where to amplify. You amplify on LinkedIn. You amplify on Facebook, right? If you're a content creator, you look at the apps that optimize something like that. You look at maybe an Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, So there are different ways for people who just want to put their thoughts out there but they don't really want to be seen as much. They can go on Twitter or on X, or maybe have a podcast, audio-based podcast on Spotify. For some people, their strength is in writing, so they just build a network wherein they send newsletters and all of it. Just do that, but just make sure that there is a platform that is aggregating your thoughts and perspectives. Just make sure that there is one.
Instead of just idling, instead of just wasting
yourself
time
thin,
on Instagram, because people, you stay there for hours. Meanwhile, if you come out of it, you ask yourself, what have you really achieved in the 4 hours?
the latest gossip.
And like you were saying earlier about, okay, you were the one saying that not everybody can do that, right?
Yeah.
That's what life is all about, right? In the pre-internet era, there were people who could not adjust into the internet era, and they got sidelined. So if you can't adjust, there's a book called Evolve or Die.
It's not even a book, it's a quote. So Franklin, very, very quickly, because you brought up Jeff Bezos and you talked about the fact that he says him and the people who work directly with him are not existing for today, they're existing for tomorrow.
Yes.
Future trends, what do you see as a trend in the field of personal branding? And how do you expect individuals, how do we stay ahead? How do we evolve so we don't die?
I know.
Very quickly.
evolve by taking a deeper look at. I like to. Okay, quickly. People
You said it's a masterclass now.
People make the mistake of looking at the future or looking at life as linear, right? They look at life as, the future is a destination. The future is not a destination. The future is not a geographical standpoint. The future is a series of occurrences that encapsulate the maturation of human purpose. So, if you have been designated for a purpose in life, the point that you achieve it, be it 25 or 26, that you achieve it, that's the future for you. Then you can then continue extending it, But it's an aggregation of events that encapsulate the maturation of human purpose. That's what future is. So by the time that you start looking at it from that perspective, you realize that life is not linear. You hear phrases like, he was haunted by his past. The past can visit you in your present. In fact, your past can go into your future and wait for you.
Yes.
You hear people saying, I caught a glimpse of my future. The future can visit you in your present. So in that regard, you realize that life is cyclical. The earth rotates around the sun. The sun rotates on its axis, right? So life is cyclical. We recycle fashion.
Yes.
Don't we?
20, 25 years.
We recycle hairstyle, don't we?
Yes,
It's a cycle. So by the time that you start looking at that, you realize that some things have gone that we think are gone forever. They will come in a remodeled fashion.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at things like that, it will be easier for you to predict what is coming next. Aggregation of data. What was the previous dispensation? What's going on right now? Okay. Addition and subtraction of all of this, given technological advancement, given all of these things, how do I think the future is going to look? So you can have different options, different variables. You start examining and then looking at contemporary dictates. What tallies with any of these options that I'm looking at? So it gives you a bit of predictability when it comes to looking towards the future. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. We'll take a short break. Franklin, thank you for being so frank.
Frankly speaking.
Listen, we have been engaged on this table, and I thank you for visiting
You
us.
should have a show, frankly speaking.
There was a TV. She's too young. There was a TV show called Frankly Speaking. We're on a break now.
Yeah.
No, like,
We'll
but
be-
his
we'll be
name is
back.
frankly speaking. I just,
Yeah.
It's not working.
No.
let's go.
We'll be back.
This is Jasiri. We'll be wrapping things up. We're holding a very, very special hot topic for you until tomorrow, because I want to know between now and tomorrow if you have a garden in your house. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, be here tomorrow. But a lot to take in. I actually went to go and look at Mark Zuckerberg's post that Franklin was just talking about.
Yeah.
Over 1 million likes, over 27,000 comments, even though I've seen larger comments in other places. He's just drinking a beer on a surfboard, holding the American flag. And that's it. And the next day we see a tangible reaction to that. See, whether we like it or not, social media is here to stay. The potential and the possibilities are absolute.
Yeah.
But please, my fellow Nigerians, can we please stop arguing with our business pages?
I know,
That I'm so sorry. I was telling the ladies, once I see you arguing on a blog
It's
with
so
a
off-putting.
business,
Seriously.
I will preemptively block you so I don't accidentally do business with you.
Because it's off-putting actually. If you're so invested in building your page, you have no business using your page. You should be able to separate it.
And you can. You
I
switch
don't-
accounts.
I don't, honestly, at this level where we are, I don't even think you should separate yourself from your business. Ike said that he no longer operates as a businessman. He sees
He's now
himself
a
as a
business.
business.
Jay-Z said it.
As a person that is trying to brand yourself,
So
you're
you
saying,
shouldn't be
okay,
in spaces like that.
you should not even
No,
be
even if you're in
arguing.
those
Like, why are you
spaces,
arguing?
you can have a disagreement with your business page.
Exactly.
It is the man, and I think that probably comes down to who we are as Nigerians. It is the manner in which we see some of these business pages spewing the things that they spew.
I don't think they're aware of how they say it. I think it's
How
that
it comes across.
Yeah, I think it's the normal them in them that just comes to the fore. You forget your business, that you're the face, like you're wearing a mask. Then you come out of the mask and say, listen, yes, that thing, and then you go back into the mask.
It kind of shows that a lot of times, especially in this part of the world, we do a lot of things by chance. like a lot of influencers became influencers by
By
chance.
chance,
And that's
yeah.
why, you know, when you said something about Frankly should have a master class, in my mind, I'm like, these are the people that should have master classes, not the people that just woke up to 20K followers because of one post. And then you see those people now say, oh, I have a master class on how to be an influencer. No, you're not an influencer.
No,
Because you don't even,
is
you
why I
You
also
see them
blame
with
brands.
hello guys. They start with hello guys.
But that's why I also blame brands. Brands are chasing the people who have the numbers.
I
But when
won't
it
blame
comes
them.
down to it, what I realized is, do your numbers actually translate to engagement? Do your numbers translate to you having an audience that has the money to live this lifestyle, to buy this product? For a lot of influencers in Nigeria, let's be honest, no, they don't. That's why you see that our influencing in Nigeria in some aspects is very, my word I'll use is crass.
Yes.
They will engage. You'll see a large number of comments, but how many of those people can actually then engage with the product post and then buy a product?
No, but I won't lie. I think that, of course, well, maybe some of the brands. I know some influencers that have large followings or do not have a lot of engagement. Even those that have a lot of, there are brands that are so strategic that now you see people with 5,000 followers
They're going
influencing for brands.
Yes, they're going from micro influencers.
Exactly. So it was then that the influencing would start from like 100K. Now,
No.
your 2K followers, they see you as a micro influencer.
And I think it's a welcome development. It's a welcome movement. It's a welcome wave, because everybody thinks by the more followers you have, and they get it, it's stuck in your head that the more following or more followers you have, the more you are eligible or prime for endorsement and influence and being influencers. And I say it does not have to be that way, because most times you put out a post or you're doing work or you're influencing, and then you realize that the engagement you get in maybe you have 7 million people following you, you have only 70 comments in that.
And
but if you post something that's just off the cuff, you have about 2,000 comments.
And I don't want people to think we're all caught up on social media. Some people, if you're in the corporate world as well, you are a brand.
Yeah.
Anything you're posting, people are now Xing people from interviews and from job opportunities because of what you've posted. Sometimes not what you posted, but the manner in which you've
comments that you
engaged
even
and
made.
So be very sure that social media is not going to separate whether you are building a personal brand or a personal business on social media, or you're staying in the corporate world and you're bearing a name. People are looking for you. They want to know what you stand for. They want to know what your values are, and all of those things translate. All right, ladies, before we wrap things up, we're going to get in some big, massive breaking news that we've been waiting for here in Nigeria. This is breaking news right here on News Central. Okay, so they seem to just want me to just break it. All right, so just in from the Supreme Court, what we're hearing right now, this judgment that, of course, we've been waiting for on local government autonomy, sending money to state governors before disbursement to local governments is illegal practice. This is the Supreme Court ruling on the matter between the federal government and the 36 states and the FCT, saying now that sending money to state governors before disbursement to local governments is illegal practice. That's coming right now from the Supreme Court. Do trust us right here on News Central to give you all the latest on this, the details, and have the analysis of this judgment and what it means for local government autonomy and especially financial autonomy in the coming years. So yeah, some breaking news there that we've been hoping and expecting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, what happens. All right, so we'll be wrapping things up now. We have to go. Tomorrow is Hot Topic Special. You'll see what is special tomorrow. But we'll be here 10 a.m. to do it again and, of course, ease you into the weekend. From all of us at the table, it's a good one.
Goodbye.
Bye.